Get your filthy hands off that merchandise. People like you steal everything they touch. The words slice through the elegant boutique like broken glass. Store manager Marcus Rodriguez towers over Dorothy Washington, his face twisted with disgust as he deliberately sweeps her arm away from a silk Hermes scarf. The sudden motion sends her vintage leather handbag tumbling to the marble floor, contents scattering across the pristine white tiles. Dorothy, 67, moves with quiet dignity to gather her belongings. Her white cardigan is simple but well-tailored. Her silver hair is pulled back neatly. She says nothing as lipstick, reading glasses, and a worn leather wallet spread around her sensible flats. 3 teenage shoppers immediately pull out phones. The live stream counter starts climbing. 47 viewers. 156. 423. Have you ever been so thoroughly misjudged that people forgot to look beyond the surface, only to discover they'd made the most expensive mistake of their lives? 3:48 p.m. Marcus circles Dorothy like a predator sizing up wounded prey. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to empty that bag completely. We've had multiple reports of theft today. Dorothy rises slowly, brushing glass fragments from her cardigan. I haven't stolen anything. I was simply examining the scarf's fabric quality. Sure you were. Marcus's laugh is ugly, theatrical. Jake, get over here. Security guard Jake Williams approaches reluctantly. At 28, he's worked retail long enough to recognize trouble brewing. What's the situation, Marcus? Caught this one red-handed. Saw her stuff merchandise in that raggedy purse. Marcus points accusingly. Probably got a whole shopping list hidden in there. Dorothy's voice remains steady. Young man, I'd like to see your manager, please. I am the manager, lady. And you're gonna show me what's in that bag or I'm calling the cops right now. 3:49 p.m. The live stream audience explodes. At TeenTruth_Tia angles her phone for the perfect shot while providing commentary. Y'all, this is absolutely disgusting. This woman is somebody's grandmother, and this man is treating her like garbage. Share this everywhere. Comments flood the screen. This is 2025, not 1955. Sue his ass. Where's the store manager? Record everything. Viewer count, 1,247, 2,891, 4,556, 3:50 p.m. Dorothy reaches for her worn leather wallet to retrieve identification. Marcus immediately lunges forward. Don't you dare reach for anything else. Keep your hands where I can see them. I'm simply getting my ID to... I don't care what sob story you got. Empty the bag, now! Dorothy's phone buzzes. She glances at the screen briefly. The caller ID shows Washington and Associates. She declines the call without answering. Marcus notices the expensive-looking smartphone. Well. That's a pretty fancy phone for someone who can't afford to shop here legitimately. 3:51 p.m. Young employee Janice Martinez watches from behind the jewelry counter, her stomach churning. She's seen Marcus get aggressive before, but never like this. Her hands shake as she pretends to organize necklace displays. An elderly white customer, Mrs. Eleanor Henderson, stops her browsing to stare. She's shopped here for 15 years and has never witnessed anything so appalling. Excuse me. Mrs. Henderson ventures quietly. This seems rather harsh. Perhaps we should... Marcus whirls around. Ma'am, please don't interfere with store security procedures. This is a criminal matter now. Mrs. Henderson steps back, intimidated. 3:52 p.m. Dorothy's phone rings again. This time Marcus snatches it from her hands. Give that back immediately, Dorothy says firmly. What's some thief gonna do with a phone anyway? Probably stolen too. Marcus examines the device mockingly. A real leather case, platinum card visible in the wallet pocket. You're running quite the operation here, aren't you? He tosses the phone back at her feet. Dorothy bends to retrieve it, her dignity intact despite the humiliation. 43 minutes until the store closes, Jake announces nervously. Marcus, maybe we should just... Shut up, Jake. I'm handling this. 3:53 p.m. The live stream reaches 8,000 viewers. Local news blogger Sarah Lane receives multiple notifications about the trending video. She immediately starts screen recording while typing frantically. Breaking. Racial profiling incident at Northbrook Premium goes viral. Elderly black woman accused of theft with zero evidence. This is happening right now. The hashtag #NorthbrookShame begins trending in Chicago. 3:54 p.m. Marcus gets bolder with his growing audience. You know what I think? I think you come into places like this all the time, acting like you belong, then walking out with whatever you can grab.
That's enough,
Dorothy says quietly. No, it's not enough. People like you think you're entitled to whatever you want. Well, not in my store. Dorothy's second phone call comes through. This time the screen shows Regional VP Jennifer Martinez. Again, she declines. Marcus sees the caller ID. Regional VP, right, probably your dealer or something. A young couple near the handbag section starts recording discreetly, uploading immediately to Instagram stories. The woman whispers, "This is so messed up." 3:55 p.m. Ma'am, Jake tries again. If you could just cooperate with the bag search, we can resolve this quickly. Dorothy looks at him with something approaching pity. Son, your supervisor is making a very serious mistake. I suggest you document everything carefully. Don't listen to her manipulation tactics, Marcus snaps. Criminals always try to turn the situation around. Dorothy's phone buzzes with text notifications. Through her cracked reading glasses, she glimpses several urgent messages from bored colleagues. 3:56 p.m. The store's atmosphere grows toxic. Other customers begin leaving, uncomfortable with the escalating confrontation. The remaining staff exchange worried glances. Marcus enjoys his perceived authority. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to empty that bag, submit to a full search, or I'm calling Chicago PD right now. Your choice. Dorothy sits calmly on a nearby bench, her hands folded. I'm not going anywhere until this is resolved properly. Fine, Jake, call the police. Tell them we have a confirmed theft in progress. Jake hesitates. Marcus, are you sure about this? I didn't actually see her take anything. Are you questioning my authority? I saw her conceal merchandise. That's theft, period. The live stream counter hits 12,000 viewers as Dorothy Washington sits in quiet dignity, completely surrounded but somehow unbroken. 3:57 p.m. Store manager arrives. Heavy footsteps echo across the marble floor. Carol Murphy, 45, strides toward the commotion with the confidence of 12 years managing Northbrook's flagship location. Her sharp business suit and perfectly styled blonde hair project authority. Marcus, what's happening here? Her tone is clipped. Professional. Carol, thank God, caught this woman stealing. She's refusing to cooperate with store policy. Carol surveys the scene. Broken glasses, scattered belongings, growing crowd of phone-wielding witnesses. Her expression hardens as she processes the optics. Ma'am, I'm Carol Murphy, store manager. We're going to need you to submit to a bag search immediately or vacate the premises. Dorothy meets her gaze steadily. On what specific grounds am I being accused? Store theft prevention policy gives us reasonable suspicion authority. You either comply or we involve law enforcement. 3:58 p.m. at TeenTruth_Tia adjusts her phone angle, ensuring both managers are clearly visible. Chat, now we got 2 managers ganging up on this lady. This is insane. Viewer count explodes. 15,234, 18,891, 23,445. Comments rage across the screen. Call the news stations. This is elder abuse. White privilege in action. Where are the good managers? Local Chicago influencer at Chi-Town Keep It Real joins the live stream as a co-host, bringing her 890K followers into the conversation. 3:59 p.m., Marcus grows emboldened by Carol's support. See? I told you this was serious business. You picked the wrong store to run your little scam. He kicks Dorothy's scattered belongings closer to her feet. Bet you got a whole system worked out. Come in looking all innocent, grab expensive stuff, then play victim when you get caught. Dorothy's phone rings a third time. The caller ID clearly shows board chair Robert Brooks. She declines again, but not before Carol notices the business formal contact name. Interesting phone contacts for someone who allegedly can't afford our merchandise, Carol observes coldly. 4 p.m., Jake shifts uncomfortably. Ladies, maybe we should review the security footage before— Jake, you're not paid to think, Marcus snaps. You're paid to back up management decisions. Carol nods approvingly. Exactly. Ma'am, you have 60 seconds to comply with our search request or we're calling the police for trespassing and suspected theft. Dorothy remains seated, her hands folded. I understand you believe you're doing your jobs, but you're making a catastrophic error in judgment. Are you threatening us? Carol's voice rises, because that's what it sounds like. 4:01 p.m. The crowd grows. Janice pretends to reorganize inventory while listening intently. Mrs. Henderson hovers near the exit, torn between fleeing and staying to witness the outcome. A well-dressed businessman stops shopping entirely, openly recording with his tablet. "This is absolutely appalling customer service," he mutters. Two college students near the cosmetics counter live stream to their sorority group chat. The secondary streams multiply the audience exponentially. Total online viewers now exceed 35,000 across multiple platforms. Marcus paces around Dorothy like a predator. "I bet this isn't your first time getting caught either. You probably got a whole criminal history of this stuff." "That's a serious accusation without evidence," Dorothy responds quietly. "Evidence? Lady, I got eyes. I saw you stuff that scarf in your bag." 4:02 p.m. Carol decides to join the humiliation. "You know what's really pathetic? Coming into an upscale store dressed like this?" She gestures dismissively at Dorothy's simple clothing. "Thinking you can just blend in with our actual customers." "Actual customers don't dress like they're going to church thrift sales," Marcus adds with a cruel laugh. Dorothy adjusts her cardigan calmly. "I see. So my appearance determines my shopping rights?" "Your appearance and your behavior," Carol replies coldly. And right now, both scream shoplifter. 4:03 p.m. Marcus decides to escalate further. "You know what I think happened? I think you walked in here with that raggedy bag already loaded with stolen goods from other stores. Now you're trying to add our merchandise to your collection." He points at her vintage handbag accusingly. "That thing's probably full of shoplifted items right now." Dorothy's voice remains calm. "Young man, you're compounding your initial mistake with each additional accusation." "Oh, so now I'm the problem? Lady, you got some serious nerves." Carol checks her watch theatrically. 36 minutes until closing. We need resolution now. 4:04 p.m. Dorothy's phone buzzes with multiple text notifications. Through the cracked screen, glimpses of sender names are visible. CEO office, legal debt, PR director. Marcus notices the corporate-sounding notifications. "Wow, really committed to this act, aren't you? Fake contacts and everything." "Those appear to be legitimate business communications," Mrs. Henderson says quietly from across the store. "Ma'am, please don't encourage her delusions," Carol responds sharply. "She's obviously using fake names to seem important." Carol turns back to Dorothy with visible disgust. "Using fake business contacts to intimidate us? That's a new low, even for a shoplifter." 4:05 p.m. The regional Chicago News Twitter account picks up the trending hashtag. Investigating reports of discrimination incident at Northbrook Premium, developing story. At TeenTruth_Tia reads the notification live. "Y'all, the news is watching now. This is going national." Local activist groups begin sharing the stream. The story spreads beyond retail drama into civil rights territory. Marcus sees the notification and laughs harshly. "Great. Now she's got her friends calling the news with fake stories. This is exactly the kind of manipulation these people use." 4:06 p.m. Jake makes one final attempt at de-escalation. "Look, why don't we just review the security cameras? That would clear everything up quickly." Marcus explodes. "Jake, I am the assistant manager here. I saw what I saw. Stop undermining my authority." "But if we just check the footage will show exactly what I said it shows. This woman is concealing merchandise." Carol supports Marcus completely. "Our employee witnessed the theft. That's sufficient grounds for our actions." "Besides," Carol adds with a sneer, "people like her know exactly how to avoid cameras. They've had plenty of practice." 4:07 p.m. Dorothy's phone rings again. This time it's emergency contact, Washington and Associates. The name suggests a law firm. She looks at the screen thoughtfully before declining. "Another fake business call?" Marcus taunts. "How many imaginary jobs have you got, lady?" The businessman with the tablet speaks up. "Excuse me, but Washington and Associates is a prominent Chicago law firm. I recognize the name." Marcus whirls around. "Sir, please don't interfere with store security operations. I'm simply stating a fact about..." "Facts according to who? Her accomplice?" Carol steps closer to Dorothy menacingly. "Nice try with the planted witness, but we're not falling for your little performance." 4:08 p.m. The tension reaches a breaking point. Dorothy sits surrounded by 3 store employees, a growing crowd of recording witnesses, and over 42,000 online viewers watching her public humiliation. Carol delivers the ultimatum. Ma'am, this is your final opportunity. Submit to the bag search now or we're calling police for theft, trespassing, and disrupting business operations. Marcus adds vindictively. And when they get here, we're pressing full charges. Hope your fake business contacts can help you with a criminal record. People like you think you can just walk into our world and take whatever you want. Carol continues. Well, not today. Dorothy looks at her watch, a simple but elegant timepiece that catches the boutique lighting. She takes a deep breath as if making a momentous decision. Very well. I believe it's time to resolve this situation completely. She reaches slowly into her handbag. Marcus tenses, ready to accuse her of destroying evidence. Carol crosses her arms, satisfied with her victory. Jake looks miserable but resigned. The live stream audience holds its collective breath as Dorothy Washington prepares to end this confrontation once and for all. 4:08 p.m. The silent power move. Dorothy's hand moves deliberately through her handbag. Marcus leans forward, ready to pounce on any suspicious movement. Carol stands with arms crossed, savoring her anticipated victory. Whatever you're reaching for better not be stolen merchandise, Marcus warns. Dorothy's fingers find what she's looking for. She withdraws a sleek leather business card holder, moving with the calm precision of someone who has done this countless times in boardrooms across the country. I believe this conversation requires proper introductions, she says quietly. She opens the holder and extracts a single, pristine business card. Without a word, she extends it toward Marcus. 4:09 p.m. Marcus snatches the card impatiently. What's this supposed to prove? Anyone can print fake. His voice dies mid-sentence. The color drains from his face as he reads the elegant, embossed text. His hands begin to tremble slightly. Carol notices Marcus's sudden stillness. What does it say? Marcus can't speak. He simply hands the card to Carol with shaking fingers. Carol reads aloud, her voice growing fainter with each word. Dorothy Washington, Juris Doctor, Senior Partner, Washington and Associates, Board of Directors, Northbrook Holdings. The words hang in the air like a death sentence. 4:10 p.m. The live stream explodes. At teen_truth_Tia screams into her phone, "Oh my God, chat! Plot twist of the century! She's on the board! She literally owns this place!" Viewer count rockets, 47,891, 52,334, 58,776. Comments flood the screen faster than anyone can read. Karma is real. She owns the store. Get his job. Yes, Queen. I'm screaming. The secondary live streams go wild. College students shriek with excitement. The businessman with the tablet actually applauds. 4:11 p.m. The crushing silence in the boutique is deafening. Marcus stares at Dorothy as if seeing a ghost. Carol's mouth opens and closes wordlessly like a fish gasping for air. Dorothy doesn't need to say anything. The power has completely, utterly shifted. She simply sits with quiet dignity, watching their worldview collapse in real time. Jake's jaw drops. Mrs. Washington, you're on the board? Dorothy finally speaks, her voice carrying new authority. I am indeed. I've served on Northbrook Holdings Board of Directors for 8 years. Marcus stumbles backward, bumping into a display case. I didn't know. Clearly. Carol's voice cracks as she speaks. Mrs. Washington, there's been a terrible mistake. We had no way of knowing your position. My position is irrelevant. Every customer deserves basic human dignity. 4:12 p.m. Dorothy opens her phone, revealing her call log. Those fake business contacts you mocked? Board Chair Robert Brooks called 4 times. CEO Jennifer Martinez called twice. Legal Department 3 times. She shows them the screen. Marcus actually whimpers at the sight of the missed calls. They've been watching the live stream for the past 15 minutes. Carol's panic begins to set in. Her career, her reputation, her future, everything she's built over 12 years is crumbling around her feet. 4:13 p.m. Dorothy pulls up another screen on her phone. This is our company's employee handbook. Section 4.7, Customer Service Standards. Would you like me to read the anti-discrimination policy aloud? Mrs. Washington, please. Carol starts. Northbrook Holdings maintains zero tolerance for racial profiling, physical contact with customers, or false accusations based on appearance or ethnicity. Does that sound familiar? Marcus looks like he might collapse. Sweat beads on his forehead despite the air conditioning. 4:14 p.m. The livestream audience is in absolute ecstasy. Viewer count continues climbing. 62,445, 67,223, 71,889. At TeenTruth_Tia provides running commentary. Chat, this is the most beautiful karma I've ever witnessed. She played them perfectly. Secondary TikTok accounts start creating reaction videos in real time. The hashtag #NorthbrookKarma begins trending nationally. Dorothy addresses the crowd calmly. I apologize that your shopping experience was disrupted by this incident. The businessman says, Ma'am, witnessing justice in action was worth any inconvenience. 4:15 p.m. Dorothy reaches for her phone again. This time, when it rings showing board chair Robert Brooks, she answers the speaker. Hello, Robert. Yes, I'm still at the flagship store. No, the situation has not been resolved yet. In fact, I believe we need emergency board intervention. Robert's voice carries clearly through the boutique speaker. Dorothy, we've been monitoring the social media situation. Current viewer count across all platforms exceeds 75,000. Legal wants to know about potential liability exposure. Marcus visibly staggers. Carol grips the counter so hard her knuckles turn white. 4:16 p.m. Dorothy continues the speaker conversation while maintaining eye contact with her tormentors. Robert, the entire incident has been documented. Physical assault, racial profiling, false theft accusations, destruction of personal property. Jesus Christ, Dorothy, what's the immediate plan? I'm implementing emergency damage control. We'll need comprehensive policy review and immediate personnel decisions. Keep me updated every 10 minutes. This could cost us millions in publicity damage. 4:17 p.m. Dorothy ends the call and addresses the frozen store staff. Now then, shall we discuss what happens next? Marcus tries desperately to salvage something. Mrs. Washington, I am so sorry. I genuinely thought I was protecting store assets. You genuinely thought what, exactly? That a black woman in simple clothing couldn't possibly be a legitimate customer? The question hangs in the air. Marcus can't answer because any honest response would be an admission of racial bias. 4:18 p.m. Mrs. Henderson approaches cautiously. I want to apologize for not speaking up sooner. What happened here was wrong. Dorothy nods graciously. Thank you for finding your voice when it mattered. Janice, the young employee who had watched in horror, steps forward. Mrs. Washington, I'm so sorry. I should have said something, but I was scared of losing my job. You have nothing to apologize for, dear. I saw your discomfort. Thank you for maintaining your integrity. 4:19 p.m. Dorothy stands slowly, gathering her remaining belongings with the same quiet dignity she's maintained throughout the ordeal. She carefully places her broken reading glasses in her handbag. Security cameras captured everything, correct? Jake nods miserably. Yes, ma'am. Full coverage from multiple angles. Excellent documentation. Now, Marcus and Carol, we need to discuss your immediate futures with this company. Marcus's legs look ready to give out. Carol's professional composure has completely shattered. The live stream viewer count breaks 80,000 as Dorothy Washington prepares to deliver the final blow. She has revealed her true identity, but she hasn't revealed the full extent of her power yet. The most devastating revelation is still to come. 4:20 p.m. Data-driven demolition. Dorothy retrieves her tablet from her handbag with surgical precision. The device awakens to reveal corporate dashboards, financial reports, and legal documents that Marcus and Carol have never seen because they've never been important enough. Let's discuss some numbers, shall we? She swipes to a quarterly report. Northbrook Holdings, fiscal year 2024. Total corporate revenue, $847 million. Marcus's mouth goes dry. Carol stares at figures she's only heard whispered about in district manager meetings. This flagship location, $23.2 million annually, approximately $63,000 per day. Dorothy's finger traces the profit margins. Your employment costs this company exactly how much value? The question hangs unanswered because both employees know their salaries are rounding errors compared to these numbers. 4:21 p.m. Dorothy opens another application. Illinois Human Rights Act, Section 3, 102. Public accommodations discrimination. Class C misdemeanor. Fines up to $1,500 per violation. But that's just the beginning. She scrolls through legal precedents with practiced ease. Federal Title II violations carry substantially higher penalties. Recent settlements in similar cases. Morrison versus Luxury Retail Group, $400,000. Patterson versus Premium Shopping Network, $750,000. Carol's face turns ashen. Mrs. Washington, surely we can resolve this internally. We're far beyond internal resolution, Carol. This incident has already cost us more than your annual salary in the first hour alone. 4:22 p.m. The livestream audience watches in fascination as Dorothy transforms from victim to corporate executioner. Viewer count, 89,234, 95,567, 103,890. At Teen Truth_Tia provides breathless commentary. Y'all, she's pulling out receipts, literal financial receipts. This is corporate revenge porn. Comments explode. She came with data. Get them with facts. Legal queen. Destroy them professionally. This is how you do justice. 4:23 p.m. Dorothy's phone rings. She answers immediately. Jennifer, perfect timing. I have you as a speaker with our flagship management team. The voice of CEO Jennifer Martinez fills the boutique. Dorothy, we've been monitoring social media. Current hashtag engagement exceeds 2 million interactions. The stock price dropped 3% in the last 20 minutes. Marcus actually staggers backward. Carol grips a jewelry case for support. What's our exposure assessment? Jennifer continues. Dorothy glances at Marcus and Carol coldly. Comprehensive policy failures, multiple federal violations, potential class action implications if other victims come forward. How many employees were involved? 3 directly. Store manager Carol Murphy showed complete failure of supervisory responsibility. Assistant manager Marcus Rodriguez initiated and escalated. Security guard Jake Williams showed reluctance but failed to intervene appropriately. 4:24 p.m. Mrs. Washington, Carol interrupts desperately. I take full responsibility for any misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Dorothy's voice cuts like a blade. Let me read you your employee handbook, Section 4. 3. Physical contact with customers is prohibited except in cases of immediate safety threats. Did you perceive me as a safety threat, Marcus? Marcus can barely speak. No, ma'am. Section 4.7. Accusations of theft require observable evidence and management approval. Did you observe me concealing merchandise? I thought I saw. You thought? Based on what specific evidence? Silence. Section 6.2. False accusations against customers constitute grounds for immediate termination. Are you familiar with this policy? More silence. 4:25 p.m. Dorothy continues her systematic destruction. Section 2.1. All customers will be treated with equal dignity regardless of race, appearance, or perceived economic status. Would you say your behavior reflected this policy? Carol attempts intervention. Mrs. Washington, Marcus is young. He made an error in judgment. Carol, you actively supported and escalated his error in judgment. You bear supervisory responsibility. Dorothy opens her employment files application. Marcus Rodriguez, hired March 2022. 2 previous customer complaints. 1 formal reprimand for aggressive behavior. Completion rate for mandatory diversity training, 0%. Why is he still employed? Carol has no answer. 4:26 p.m. The live stream reaches a new milestone. 125,000 viewers across all platforms. News outlets begin picking up the story in real time. Breaking news. Northbrook Holdings board member racially profiled at own store. Incident goes viral. Dorothy sees the news alert on her phone. CNN just picked up the story. This should be interesting for tomorrow's board meeting. Marcus looks ready to faint. Carol's hands shake visibly. She opens Twitter to show them the trending topics. Northbrook shame is number 3 nationally. Racial profiling 2025 is number 7. Your names are being shared alongside both hashtags. 4:27 p.m., Dorothy's tablet chimes with new information. Fascinating. Our legal department just calculated potential liability exposure. Would you like to hear the numbers? Without waiting for an answer, she continues. Discrimination lawsuit settlement. Estimated $500,000 to $2 million. Loss of consumer confidence. Projected $15 million in reduced revenue over 12 months. Federal investigation costs. Approximately $200,000. She looks up from the screen. Your combined annual salaries couldn't cover the legal fees for 1 month of litigation. 4:28 p.m. Jennifer's voice returns through the phone speaker. Dorothy, what's your recommended course of action? Dorothy surveys Marcus and Carol like a judge preparing to deliver a sentence. Immediate termination for cause seems appropriate. No severance, no positive references, no eligibility for rehire within Northbrook Holdings or subsidiary companies. Marcus crumbles. Please, Mrs. Washington, I have a family. I need this job. You should have considered your family before assaulting a customer and destroying her personal property. She gestures to her broken glasses still scattered on the floor. Those were prescription lenses, $700 to replace, added to the damages calculation. 4:29 p.m., Carol makes one final desperate attempt. Ma'am, I've been with this company for 12 years. My record speaks for itself. Dorothy scrolls through Carol's employment file. Your record shows declining customer satisfaction scores, 3 discrimination complaints filed against your staff, and consistently poor diversity training completion rates. The data doesn't lie. Carol's management failures are documented in black and white. 12 years of mediocre performance doesn't excuse today's behavior. It actually makes it worse because you should know better. 4:30 p.m., Dorothy stands, commanding the room with quiet authority. Here are your options. Option 1. Immediate resignation with written public apology and completion of 40 hours of diversity training at your own expense. Marcus nods frantically. Yes, I'll do that. I wasn't finished. Option 2. Termination for cause which permanently impacts your employment record, eliminates severance, and requires disclosure to future employers. The choice is no choice at all. Option 3. We pursue full legal prosecution for assault, destruction of property, and civil rights violations. Criminal charges, civil lawsuit, and permanent legal record. 4:31 p.m. Dorothy addresses the growing crowd. This incident demonstrates systemic failures that require comprehensive reform. She opens a new document on her tablet. Effective immediately, all Northbrook Holdings retail locations will implement mandatory quarterly bias training for all staff, customer interaction monitoring systems, anonymous reporting applications for discrimination incidents, and zero-tolerance policies with clearly defined consequences. The live stream audience erupts in approval. This isn't just personal justice, it's systemic change. 4:32 p.m. The financial reality is stark, Dorothy continues, displaying cost-benefit analysis. Implementation cost for new training programs, $89,000 annually across all locations. Cost of today's incident, conservative estimate of $5 million in lost revenue, legal fees, and reputation damage. She closes the tablet with finality. Training is significantly more cost-effective than lawsuits. Dorothy opens her phone to show them real-time social media analytics. Current reach, 3.2 million impressions across all platforms. Negative sentiment, 94%. Brand damage is already irreversible without immediate corrective action. 4:33 p.m. Dorothy creates an incident report in real time on her phone. Time, 3:47 to 4:33 p.m. Location, flagship store. Witnesses, 14 in-store, over 125,000 online. Violations, multiple federal and state anti-discrimination laws. She hits send. This report goes directly to Legal, Human Resources, and the full board of directors. Marcus watches his career disappear with each keystroke. Carol realizes 12 years of building professional reputation has evaporated in 46 minutes. 4:34 p.m. Dorothy's phone buzzes with immediate responses from board members, legal team, and corporate executives. The machinery of corporate accountability begins turning with frightening efficiency. Board member Thompson wants an emergency session tonight. The legal department recommends immediate suspension pending investigation. HR is requesting all security footage and employment records. She shows them the flood of notifications. The entire corporate structure is mobilizing in response to your actions. 4:35 p.m. Gentlemen, she addresses Marcus and Jake, then turns to Carol. And lady, you now understand the gravity of your situation. She pauses, letting the weight of consequences settle completely. However, there's one final detail you should know about my position with this company. Marcus and Carol exchanged terrified glances. They thought learning she was a board member was the worst possible revelation. They were wrong. The final, most devastating secret is about to destroy them completely. 4:35 p.m. The final revelation. Dorothy takes a measured breath, her tablet still glowing with corporate data that has already sealed their fates. The live stream audience of 140,000 plus viewers senses something monumental approaching. That final detail I mentioned? Dorothy's voice carries the quiet authority of someone about to deliver a killing blow. My family doesn't just sit on the board of Northbrook Holdings. She swipes to a different screen. Corporate ownership structure, shareholder information, founding documents. The Washington Family Trust owns 31% of Northbrook Holdings. We are the founding investors. My late husband and I built this company from a single boutique 43 years ago. The words hit like a physical blow. Marcus actually gasps. Carol's legs give out, forcing her to lean heavily against the jewelry counter. You didn't just attack a board member, you attacked the founder's widow. 4:36 p.m. The live stream explodes into chaos. At Teen Truth_Tia screams, "She built the company. They attacked the founder. This is beyond karma." Viewers count rockets past 150,000. Comments flood faster than anyone can process. She owns the whole company. Founder's revenge. They're so dead. Corporate dynasty justice. News alerts begin pinging across every major platform. This story just became national headline material. 4:37 p.m. Dorothy continues with devastating calm. Every policy you violated today, I helped write them. Every training program you ignored, I designed them. Every protection you dismissed, I fought for them. Marcus can barely stand, the weight of his actions, attacking not just a customer, not just a board member, but the company's founding family is crushing him. Mrs. Washington, how could we have known? You couldn't have known, but that's precisely the point. Dorothy's voice cuts through his stammering. Dignity shouldn't depend on knowing someone's position or wealth. 4:38 p.m. Jennifer Martinez's voice returns through the speakerphone, now carrying new urgency. Dorothy legally just informed me of your family's ownership stake. This changes everything. We're looking at potential federal civil rights violations against a company founder. Carol finally finds her voice, barely a whisper. What? What happens now? Dorothy surveys the wreckage of their careers with clinical detachment. Now we implement the changes that should have happened years ago. 4:39 p.m. Immediate consequences. Marcus Rodriguez, you are terminated effective immediately for assault, racial profiling, and violation of federal civil rights statutes. Security will escort you from the premises. Your final paycheck will reflect deductions for damaged personal property. Marcus nods numbly, all fight drained from him. Carol Murphy, you are suspended pending a full investigation. Your management authorization is revoked. You will report to corporate HR tomorrow at 9 a.m. for disciplinary proceedings. Carol's 12-year career crumbles in real time. Mrs. Washington, please. The time for please ended when you chose to escalate rather than de-escalate. Then 4:40 p.m. Systemic reform announced. Dorothy addresses the crowd and live stream simultaneously. This incident exposes failures that require immediate systematic correction. She opens a new document on her tablet. Effective tonight, I'm implementing the Dorothy Washington Customer Dignity Protocol across all 127 Northbrook Holdings locations. The protocol details scroll across her screen. First, Voice Up Northbrook, anonymous reporting app connecting directly to my office. Customer complaints receive 24-hour response guarantee. 4:41 p.m. Second, mandatory monthly unconscious bias training for all employees. Quarterly certification required for continued employment. She shows implementation timelines and budget allocations. Investment, $847,000 annually. Cost of today's incident, $5.2 million and rising. Third, Customer Advocate Program. Independent Oversight Committee with community representation and real disciplinary authority. 4:42 p.m. Dorothy's phone buzzes with news notifications. CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News are all running this story. The Washington Post just published an editorial about corporate accountability. She shows the headlines to Marcus and Carol. Retail racism backfires spectacularly when victim owns the company. Your actions are now case study material for business schools nationwide. 4:43 p.m. Recognition for allies. Dorothy turns to Janice, who has watched the entire confrontation with visible distress. Miss Martinez, you showed moral courage by refusing to participate in discrimination. You're hereby promoted to assistant manager with immediate enrollment in our leadership development program. Janice's eyes widened in shock. Mrs. Washington, thank you. Integrity deserves recognition, not just punishment for its absence. 4:44 p.m. She addresses Mrs. Henderson, who had finally spoken up. Ma'am, thank you for finding your voice when it mattered. Your witness statement will be crucial for our policy review. To the businessman who recorded everything. Mr. Brooks, your documentation provides essential evidence. Our legal team will contact you. At TeenTruth_Tia, Dorothy says, looking directly at the teen's phone camera, your courage in live streaming injustice sparked national conversation. We're creating a youth advisory committee. Would you consider participating? 4:45 p.m., the intellectual victory. Dorothy stands in the center of the boutique, surrounded by broken glass, scattered belongings, and the wreckage of 2 careers. But her voice carries satisfaction deeper than revenge. This outcome demonstrates something crucial. Sustainable change comes through systematic reform, not emotional retaliation. She gestures toward Marcus and Carol. I could have humiliated these individuals personally. Instead, I'm using this incident to prevent future victims. 4:46 p.m. The live stream reaches 175,000 viewers as Dorothy delivers her closing statement. Power without accountability creates environments where today's incident becomes inevitable. True leadership means building systems where dignity is protected regardless of appearance, race, or economic status. She looks directly into the cameras. This company will become a model for how discrimination should be handled, swiftly, systematically, and with permanent consequences. 4:47 p.m. 6-month implementation plan. Dorothy opens her calendar app, scheduling concrete follow-up actions. 90 days, customer satisfaction surveys across all locations. 6 months, discrimination complaint analysis and public reporting. 1 year, independent audit of policy effectiveness. She shows the detailed timeline to the cameras. Accountability requires measurement, transparency, and continuous improvement. 4:48 p.m. Security arrives to escort Marcus from the building. As he gathers his belongings, Dorothy offers unexpected words. Mr. Rodriguez, this doesn't have to define your entire future. Complete the diversity training. Learn from this experience. Become someone who prevents rather than perpetrates discrimination. Marcus nods through tears, the first genuine remorse he's shown. 4:49 p.m., the new standard. Dorothy addresses the live stream directly. Today's incident will become corporate training material. Every Northbrook Holdings employee will study exactly what went wrong and how to prevent repetition. She holds up her broken reading glasses. These glasses cost $700 to replace, but the lessons learned from this incident are invaluable. 4:50 p.m. As the immediate crisis concludes, Dorothy gathers her belongings with the same quiet dignity she maintained throughout the ordeal. The marble floor still shows remnants of the confrontation, but the power dynamics have completely reversed. Change requires disruption, she says to the lingering crowd. Sometimes disruption comes from unexpected sources. The founder's widow has spoken. Justice has been served not through violence or revenge, but through systematic reform that will protect countless future customers. The revolution has begun. 6 months later, the Dorothy Washington legacy. The transformation is remarkable. Dorothy Washington steps through the gleaming entrance of Northbrook Premium Department Store, no longer as an unknown customer, but as a recognized pioneer of retail justice. The same marble floors that once scattered her belongings now reflect a fundamentally changed corporate culture. Young employee badges display small rainbow pins, symbols of the diversity training every staff member has completed. Customer service scores have increased 34% across all locations. Most importantly, 0 discrimination complaints have been filed since implementation of the Dorothy Washington Customer Dignity Protocol. The wall near the entrance displays a bronze plaque. In honor of Dorothy Washington, founder, advocate, catalyst for change, dignity is not negotiable. The numbers tell the story. The financial impact exceeded every projection. Northbrook Holdings' stock price recovered within 3 months, reaching all-time highs as consumers embraced the company's transformation. Revenue increased 18% as the story attracted customers who valued ethical business practices. The viral incident generated over 47 million views across all platforms. #Dorothy Principle became a worldwide movement, inspiring similar reforms at major retailers across 6 countries. Corporate training programs report 89% improvement in employee confidence when handling diversity situations. Anonymous complaint reports through VoiceUp Northbrook average 2.3 per month, all resolved within 24 hours. Personal transformations. Marcus Rodriguez completed his 40-hour diversity certification and now works as a community advocate for retail worker rights. His public apology video generated 8.2 million views and sparked conversations about unconscious bias in customer service. Mrs. Washington taught me that my actions reflect not just on me but on every person who looks like me, Marcus said in a follow-up interview. I'm committed to being part of the solution. Carol Murphy underwent management retraining and now serves as Northbrook's Director of Inclusive Customer Experience. Her transformation from antagonist to advocate demonstrates the power of accountability combined with opportunity for growth. The ripple effect expands. The incident sparked legislation in 12 states requiring mandatory bias training for retail employees. The Washington Standard became shorthand for corporate accountability in discrimination cases. Harvard Business School features the case study in their executive leadership program. Stanford's Graduate School of Business uses Dorothy's response as the gold standard for crisis management and corporate social responsibility. The Youth Advisory Committee, chaired by @TeenTruth_Tia, now known as activist Tia, has influenced policy at 73 major retailers nationwide. Teen voices now carry weight in corporate boardrooms previously dominated by executives 3 times their age. Educational impact universities across the country study the Northbrook incident as a masterclass in transforming injustice into systematic change. Dorothy's approach, data over emotion, reform over revenge, is taught in business ethics courses from UCLA to Harvard. The case demonstrates how individual acts of discrimination can be leveraged to create institutional change, benefiting thousands of future customers. Media Recognition Time magazine named Dorothy Washington one of their 100 most influential people for pioneering corporate accountability in the digital age. Her acceptance speech emphasized collective action over individual recognition. This honor belongs to every person who refused to remain silent when witnessing injustice, Dorothy said. Change happens when ordinary people demand extraordinary accountability. The broader movement. The Dorothy Principle, using privilege and position to create systematic change rather than personal revenge, has been adopted by activists worldwide. From retail discrimination to workplace harassment, Dorothy's methodical approach to justice provides a replicable framework for lasting reform. Corporations now fear not just legal consequences, but the possibility of facing someone with both the power and wisdom to transform their failures into permanent change. Community healing. The incident brought together unlikely allies. Mrs. Henderson now volunteers with the Customer Advocacy Program. Janice Martinez completed her MBA and manages 3 Northbrook locations. Jake Williams leads security training that emphasizes de-escalation and dignity preservation. The store where it all began has become a pilgrimage site for advocates of retail justice. Customers frequently request to shop in the same section where Dorothy faced discrimination, transforming a site of injustice into a symbol of triumph. Personal reflection. In a recent interview, Dorothy reflected on the experience with characteristic grace. I could have embarrassed those employees and walked away satisfied, but personal satisfaction changes nothing for the next person facing discrimination. Real power means ensuring there isn't a next victim. The continuing work. Dorothy continues serving on corporate boards, mentoring young professionals and proving that the most powerful response to injustice is creating a world where it cannot easily happen again. She established the Washington Institute for Retail Justice, providing free legal assistance to discrimination victims and training for retail workers on inclusive customer service. Values reinforced through action. The story demonstrates crucial principles. Quiet dignity proves more powerful than loud conflict. Data and documentation triumph over emotion in creating change. Sustainable reform requires systematic thinking. True leadership means lifting others up rather than tearing opponents down. Dorothy's legacy extends far beyond a single confrontation. She proved that individual incidents of injustice can become catalysts for institutional transformation when handled with strategic wisdom rather than reactive anger. Global inspiration. Retail workers in 23 countries have adopted the Dorothy Washington Protocol. The story has been translated into 16 languages and serves as inspiration for marginalized communities facing systematic discrimination. Her quiet revolution demonstrates that lasting change comes not from destroying opponents, but from building systems that make their harmful behavior impossible to sustain. Call to action for our community. Your voice matters in this continuing fight for dignity and justice. Share your own stories of bias or discrimination in the comments below. Your experience could be the catalyst that prevents someone else from facing similar treatment. Tag businesses that need better training. Use #Dorothy principle to highlight examples of systematic change triumphing over individual retaliation. Hold corporations accountable not just for apologies, but for measurable reform. Support businesses that demonstrate inclusive practices. When you witness discrimination, document it safely, speak up when possible, and remember that your actions today shape the world someone else will experience tomorrow. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of resilience, wisdom, and systematic change. Hit the notification bell to join our community of advocates for justice through strategic action rather than reactive emotion. Share this video with someone who needs to understand that true power lies not in seeking revenge, but in preventing future victims. Use #Dorothy principle to build a movement that transforms injustice into lasting change. The final frame, Dorothy Washington, now 68, continues her quiet revolution. Board meetings, mentoring sessions, and policy development fill her days. She carries the same vintage handbag that scattered across marble floors 6 months ago, now a symbol of dignity maintained under pressure. The broken reading glasses have been replaced, but the lessons they represent remain crystal clear. Justice achieved through systematic reform creates legacies that outlast any individual victory. In a world quick to seek revenge, Dorothy Washington chose revolution. In choosing reform over retaliation, she didn't just change a company. She changed how we think about power, accountability, and the responsibility that comes with both. The Dorothy principle lives on. True strength lies not in destroying those who wrong us, but in building a world where wrongs become impossible to sustain. Join the movement. Share the story. Change the system.